What is up, everybody? It is Monday, February 19th. I'm at home. Thought I was going to have a practice today, but didn't work out. So I'm going to make a quick little video before I get started on some other stuff. I want to talk about Leon Edwards. So we're coming off the heels of UFC 298. It was a really good card. To be honest with you, I think that card is probably better than 300. But at the end of the pay-per-view, Dana announced the main event of 300, which is going to be Alex Pereira versus Jamal Hill. If you've been following my videos, or really anyone that's kind of talks about MMA, 300's main event has been absolute chaos. The card of 300 itself, with the hype that they put in, it's kind of looking lackluster. Anyways, wasn't really the main event we thought we would get. But Dana also said something else at the press conference after the pay-per-view that caught my eye, caught my ear. And he shouted out Leon Edwards. Like, he gave Leon Edwards props. He said Leon Edwards was offered 3 different fights and said yes to all of them. Now, if you think about that, why haven't we heard about those? That's because all 3 of the opponents must have said no. Now, there's other ways it could have happened, like someone gets booked for something else or someone has an injury, things like that. But given the rush of when they were throwing it together, you kind of already know most people's situations beforehand for it to make the offer itself. So I want to talk about who I think Leon could have fought. The number one fight, and I briefly mentioned it in, I don't know if it was my most recent last video or not, but I think UFC, well, one, the UFC tried to get Israel and Duplessis as soon as Duplessis won. They offered it to both of them. One of them or both of them said no. Don't know which, don't know who. But Izzy's coach came out and said he was back. So, I don't know. The next logical fight for Izzy, you want Izzy in 300. Like, Izzy's a huge star. Him coming back is coming back at the perfect time for 300, and that's what's so odd about this. The next fight that would make sense for Izzy would be for Izzy to go up and fight Alex at 205. Alex even called him out and said he would give him the shot because he gave Alex the shot, gave him motivation. I think Izzy's tired of all that. I think he's just tired of he's tired of the Alex situation. He even said when he beat Alex that one time, he's not going to fight him again. So I think Izzy said no. I straight up think Izzy said no. I don't know if he would have said no to Duplessis, but one of them did. I think the next fight offer, and that's where we're getting into Leon, Izzy doesn't cut weight. Like, Izzy was eating a bunch of food trying to gain weight to make it to 205, and what, didn't he weigh in at like 203, 202? I think they offered Izzy to go down and fight Leon. And that makes a lot of sense. And that would be props for Leon to say yes to. That'd be like Leon chasing greatness. I don't know why Izzy would have said no, other than he doesn't think he could cut the weight, or he did say he wanted his next fight to be an easy one. So I don't know, but I think the number one fight that Leon was offered was Israel Adesanya, and I think Israel turned it down for whatever reasons. Let's see, the next fight that I think he was offered. Now the one that's right in our face would be Belal Muhammad. Dana's not saying that Leon said no. Bahal's been calling for that fight forever. He was even the backup fighter when it was Leon and Colby. I don't think they offered that fight because it doesn't seem like either one of them would say no to it. I also don't think they offered that fight because it's not exciting. Like, no one really cares to see that fight. No disrespect to them, but that's just the truth. Like, neither one of them promote themselves. It seems like Bahal's got himself in a bad spot with the fans where everyone just makes fun of him. So I don't think that one was offered. I actually think the second one offered, and I think a lot of this has to do with the fact that Dana was saying he had a super fight fall into his lap, which is typically champion versus champion. I think in his head, if you go back on the timeline, he was thinking it was going to be Israel and Leon. He already had the yes from Leon. Eugene had just said Israel's coming back. I think he thought that fell into his lap, and then bam, Israel said no. I think the next route he went with Leon was trying to get Islam to move up to 170 and fight for the belt. Islam, he's beat Volk twice. Defend his belt below. Has he even defended the belt to anyone in 55? But anyways, I could see him trying to run that as a super fight. I could see those Dagestani guys, man, they turn these fights down and it doesn't get talked about. Khabib, Omar, all of them, man, they duck fights and they turn them down all the time and it never gets talked about. I guarantee Islam turned that down. It's just... So that would mean Leon accepted Israel Adesanya and Islam. Two people that at any point in time in the last 5 years, people were arguing that they're GOATs. But who's the third one? That's kind of where I'm at. I don't think it was Belal Muhammad. It wouldn't make sense. Like, neither one of them would turn it down. So, possibly Rakhmonov. Maybe he turns it down himself because he doesn't think he's ready. And then, I should have looked it up before the video, but I think originally there was thoughts of it being Michael Venom Page. But Leon would wreck Michael Venom Page, so MVP would turn that down. And MVP hasn't been on like a winning spree, so it wouldn't make any sense. But there were 3 of them, according to Dana, that he accepted. And I just can't really pin the third one down because it hasn't been booked. That's what's odd about it. Like, if it was just someone in the division coming up for the title fight, like you just go to the next one in the division or something. The fact that they didn't put Leon on the card at all, it kind of does. I don't know, man. I just don't know. I guess this is a good point for me to be like, who do y'all think the third fight is? Feel free to comment, like and subscribe, all that good stuff. Y'all have a wonderful week.